Aloha everyone and welcome to another Tinker's Academy video. I'm your host Kay Elmer, and in this video I'd like to share with you part two of a fascinating discussion I had with Dr. Nadene Johnson, who's a naturopathic medicine physician in the state of Illinois. Now she holds a doctorate in naturopathic medicine from the National University of Health Science. She's board certified as a naturopathic physician in the state of Illinois and also holds a Master of Science in Acupuncture and is a licensed acupuncturist in the state of Illinois as well, where she practices. Now, we had this great discussion. This is part two. In part one, we had this wonderful discussion about, what is naturopathic medicine? How does it work? What to expect if you wanted to try it, and some great stories of some of the successes that she's found in her career. And she's one of those gifted souls who spent, her lifetime's work is to help others. And she's just so full of knowledge. It's just an amazing discussion. I'm so, I feel so fortunate to have been able to spend time with her. So now part two if you're interested, is where we really get into the just her recommendations on all of the various important supplements that are key to your core functioning of your body. And there's core processes within your body and the specific types of things to take supplement wise, or to just how to live your life for the optimum health and wellness. And this is a great discussion for those of you who are interested in taking supplements and are really focused on living a healthy life. And so this is part two where we get into that in detail. And I'm just really thankful again. Thank you again to Dr. Johnson for joining me. And I just want to say thank you to you. And come on, and we'll go ahead and start the interview. Thank you. Aloha. Yeah, the whole
Yeah,
mineral thing. Okay, I just think there's so many follow-up questions there.
yeah.
Ooh, speaking to you is like a treat for me. Okay, so yeah, I get that. I mean, that's the huge part of our health. And all the research I've done is, the body needs like 80 or 90 minerals. And today, all of the processed foods all use the same, potassium nitrate, something else, fertilizer,
Right.
right? There's only three minerals in the modern agriculture fertilizer. There's only three of those minerals. That all the soil has been depleted because they don't practice good permaculture. So all of the food in the grocery store is mineral depleted. And so, and if you live off of that, you're going to just get sicker and sicker and sicker. Um, so,
Correct.
so on the topic of minerals, what is your recommendation for the best source of a really good mineral supplement? Because like I just recently switched from taking Shilajit, um, and I switched over to sea moss because I was doing some research, and I've also looked at moringa. But what do you do you have a recommendation? And if not, like what would what's your approach
Yeah.
to
So,
staying mineralized? And how do you know if you're mineral deficient, et cetera?
well, okay. Everybody is mineral deficient,
Okay, so just
hands
assume that
down.
right off the bat. Yeah,
Just
I
assume
agree
that
with that.
yeah, so many other, for so many reasons. So I just assume that everybody's mineral deficient, and that means the processes in your body don't work correctly.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because you need minerals as cofactors,
right.
and they're chelated out of your body by a bunch of things. Um, so I have several, I approach it several different ways. I use a fulvic humic product, whether that's fulvic humic acid. Shilajit is similar. I like them because they're macro and micro minerals. Um, Fulvic humic acid helps chelate heavy metals out of your body. It does it really gently, and it binds it up itself. And it's also a gut soother.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I can hit a bunch of targets, and plus it helps with radiation poisoning. I just found out.
Hmm.
So that is my go-to thing. That's my base thing. If that's all anybody takes, they're golden. But
Okay.
I want them, they're going to be on it for the rest of their life, basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So,
Yeah, okay, because that's what I'm taking. I'm taking a fulvic
yeah,
uh,
awesome.
acid. It's a drink from Morningstar,
Oh,
and
yeah, that's the what? That's the brand I
oh yeah,
use. Yeah.
and then so the Shilajit though is the reason I stopped taking it is because I kept reading. There's so much out there about counterfeits. Like, the once
Yeah.
Shilajit became popular, because it wasn't popular forever. I mean, I'm a supplement junkie for well over a decade or so. And so in the early days, nobody even knew what it was, and you could literally buy it, and it came from India, and it was hard to get. And now there's so many products, and it's kind of turned into this olive oil thing where you don't know.
Yeah.
You could just imagine how many counterfeits are out there because I think olive oil by itself is like, I think it's up to 97% last I read is counterfeit oil.
Oh
And
my
so you have to
goodness.
be, so I buy direct from farms now. It's
Mm,
just crazy how much of our,
right.
health food industry has just been completely compromised with fakes and counterfeits. So I kind of
Yeah.
just kind of went, well, I don't know about Shilajit anymore. So I switched to CMOS. So what would be,
So,
CMOS? What do you think of that one?
yeah, actually, funny you should mention that. I just started taking the CMOS triple thing with burdock and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me too.
something else. Yeah,
Moringa,
by
right?
Antler
Yeah.
Farms.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really like it. Um, but I also do. So my trifecta is the fulvic humic acid. Then I do some form of cell salts, either
Oh,
the
okay.
bioplasma or I do 27 mineral homeopathic ones that I make myself, which has all the minerals that you could think of. So I do that. And then I often will prescribe a magnesium supplement, and I have particular ones that way. But the other thing I'm really adamant on for a lot of people is iodine.
Okay.
Iodine is another thing that is hugely deficient in almost everybody, especially in the Midwest. And it does so many things,
Yeah.
including, I mean, it will help you with any kind of breast health ever,
Oh, yeah. Good
including
iodine.
including the big CA.
Yeah. No, thanks for mentioning that because
So,
yeah, it's kind of I'm like I come from a Asian background, Asian Haole, and that Haole is Hawaiian for Caucasian. I can't help using the language. I was there for so long. And so I'm like in Hawaii, I'm called a Hapa Haole, right, which means you're half Asian, half Haole, half Caucasian. But anyway, so yeah, because of that Asian heritage, it was constant. I mean, just massive amounts of iodine to intake through nodi and seaweeds and all of the different fermented
great.
seaweeds. And I mean, I'm just constantly, that's why Asians all have dark hair and they don't lose their hair very often. But iodine. Okay, so I got a question for you because I was taking liquid iodine until one day I spilled it on my counter and it was like the stain that never went away. And so then I switched to iodoral, which is a like a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a huge difference between liquid iodine supplements versus a tablet?
No, no, the iodoral
Yeah, that one.
is
Yeah.
a yeah, that's a really good
Oh, good. Okay.
supplement. And really, there is somebody actually who would they said, yeah, I put it in my oatmeal, which why would you do that? And it turned it black.
Don't eat
And I'm
oatmeal.
like, it's just a property of the compound of iodine.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't turn your insides black. I mean, it's really good for digestion. It's good for all the gonads. I mean, everybody should be taking it.
Yeah.
Um, every cell needs it, not to mention the adrenals and the thyroid. One doctor told me, he said, all the blood in your body runs through your thyroid in this crazy amount of minutes. And he said, and that's where the blood gets purified because of the iodine. And I was like,
That's
oh, okay.
interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
Thought the liver did that.
Well, I thought it did too, but
Huh.
I'm continually learning stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh,
you
me
know,
too. I'm literally I'm just I'm a junkie when it comes to this type of information. I just most people will like I know a lot of men are into sports. I've never been a sports person. I like to study stuff like this.
love it.
It's a
Yeah,
weird
love
habit
it.
I have.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I just think it's fascinating. Okay, so now you also mentioned soil-based supplements, clay, and so are you talking edible clays, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
all
so
of
what
them.
are you talking bentonite? Is that kind of your go-to? What's your go-to edible clay?
No, my go-to is this clay out of Montana called Pascalite.
Pascalite.
It is, it's a non-expanding form of bentonite. So it's a calcium sodium bentonite. So it acts differently. It is actually antimicrobial.
Hmm.
There's a story where some kid, like his leg was absolutely crushed, and they put him in a barrel of Pascalite clay, and it healed like in like less than 2 weeks. It had no
Wow.
pain, no deformity, nothing.
So that's external and internal use of.
External, yep,
Okay.
and
That's
internal. You can,
okay.
yeah, it's
Uh,
fascinating the things you can, you can take it internally and it'll act as an antimicrobial. But you can put it on the skin, you can put it on the eye, you can put it in the eye. You can use it for pretty much anything.
Okay, so let
Um,
me. Oh yeah, thank you for that. That's a great tip. I'm going to go buy some. Uh, okay, but here I've got a question for you, and this has come up before, and I'm never quite sure how to answer it. Like when you take a clay and you're also taking your other supplements, um, is the clay going to chelate out your minerals? I mean, because I know that like you taking other chelators but clay binds, right? Doesn't it bind to other like minerals? And wouldn't it suck the minerals out of you, or is that not an issue?
so the Pascalite will not
Okay.
take out the beneficial minerals, but I take it away from other supplements.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
actually, if you take the Pascalite clay with food, it will moderate a food intolerance.
Oh, okay.
So if you're allergic to a food and you take the Pascalite after, it will help your body manage that.
Okay. So don't take it with supplements because that's what because
Right.
I've learned that if because I want to do detox, but I don't want to basically erase out. So I take supplements in the morning and then I
Hmm.
usually wait 12 hours before I'll take like chlorella or blue green algae or clay, just because I don't, I just know that I don't want to just erase all the benefits I just paid for.
Right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay, so that's like a 12-hour window, right?
Yeah.
Uh, oh, and little tip on the allergy comment you made. You should look at or if you get a chance, I know you're super busy, but take a look at the benefits of quantum healing video I did on allergens. There's some remarkable discoveries being made in terms of quantum energy and allergens. I'll leave it at that. I'll talk to you about that afterwards.
Yeah,
You might find that to be quite
absolutely.
fascinating. To me, that little snippet there is that's a game changer. So
Right.
okay, so probiotics. Let me ask you this. I'm constantly, I've been swapping probiotics for quite some time, trying to find the perfect one. I kind of because I work on the whole hormetic thing, so I don't always take the same thing all the time. Every 3 weeks, I completely switch up what I'm
Mhm.
taking. And so I'll switch from, kefirs to kombuchas to actual like I use this one brand called Telefloral.
Mhm.
And it's an SBO, soil-based organism probiotic. But
Mhm.
what's your like recommendation on a really good probiotic as well as a prebiotic for gut health?
So, you know, all the things that you mentioned, especially kefir, is what I try to get people taking. I try to get them taking natural fermented foods like natural apple cider vinegar, kefir, kombucha, kimchi. It's a tough thing to get people to take fermented, sauerkraut, but fermented pickles, anything fermented will give
Hmm.
you, thousands of more probiotics than you can get in a capsule.
Okay.
But, some people, just can't do it. And so any of the soil-based ones I am happy with. I'm not too particular with them, and I'm not too particular about prebiotics either, because a lot of my people, including me, have have had digestive issues, like with the oligo fructo organ, whatever those things are, fructo oligosaccharides. And so prebiotics, give you gas. So I'm not so big on those. Um, as I am just about getting a decent fermented food or probiotics in.
Okay. So which do you prefer better, a dairy-based kefir or water-based kefir?
Well, see, I'm partial to full fat. dairy kefir. And of course, I make my own here with raw milk. So, that's
Oh,
absolutely the best. Full fat, raw milk, homemade kefir. You can't beat that.
okay. Where did you get your culture from? Like which culture do you?
Listen, give me your address. I'll send you some of my very own
Oh,
grains that
bless you. Oh,
they
yeah,
have love in them.
okay. That is so cool, because honestly, as you know, or everybody knows, or not everybody, but I was just moved to the Midwest after living in Hawaii for 35 years. And I got to tell you, you think, oh, I'm in Hawaii, it's really, you cannot access raw milk. You just can't get it. And there's only one dairy on the Big Island, and it's impossible and expensive. So, but I finally moved out here and I hooked up with an organic co-op, and I can get anything I could ever dream of, organic grass-fed beef on the hoof. I can get raw milk. I can get any
Mm.
type of fowl, geese, duck, you name it. You can just,
Yeah. So
yeah. So now I
here,
finally have an access to raw milk, and I've been um, wanting to kind of figure out what to do with that.
so here's my favorite cleanse in the world. It's the
Mhm.
only kind of cleanse I've ever done. It's a raw milk cleanse.
Really?
All you drink all day long is raw milk, and it is fabulous. You're
For how
never
long?
hungry as long as you can go. The most I've gone is 4 days. Then I got a little hungry. But I felt so good. I was never hungry. I lost weight. Everything settled down. I mean, it was like magic.
Oh, thanks for that tip. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something to think about.
Yeah, because
And you
on
can,
the topic, on the topic of detox, that's. Let me just ask you this. Um, I'm someone that every year, at least every quarter, I will do the Bob Beck protocol just
mhm.
to cleanse myself out of pathogens. It's one of the things that I do. I just recently did a week of it and just kind of, reset the bar. And then, but from a detox standpoint, what's your, I mean, obviously everybody should be doing something along the lines of detoxing on a daily basis, right? Because I do take detox supplements.
Mhm.
But what's your recommendation for just in terms of, there's people that are heavy toxic load, and then so the detox advice would be different for them. But for someone like myself who's been doing it daily, I have all this regimen. It's like, what would be your ideal detox regimen for someone who's kind of like, been into it for a while? Like, what would you recommend on top of that raw milk idea?
So, so you've got that right. Doing seasonal detoxes is, really important, like in the spring and the fall.
Hmm.
That's great. I'm kind of um, sold on the idea that detox should be done every single day. I mean, you can do, there's liver cleanses, there's cleanses. Usually, what I will recommend for my people, and this isn't an ongoing thing, but if they need some kind of cleansing, I will use a spagyric. I do the Pecana triads for the liver, lymphatic, and kidneys, and that is like the best detox and drainage ever. But basically, I use the fulvic humic as a daily detox.
Okay, yeah, me too.
That's just like, that I know I can do for a long time. And it's easy to do. It's not expensive. It doesn't hurt and it doesn't taste icky. So it's kind of, but if your thing is apple cider vinegar, wow, do that every day. If your
Okay.
thing is lemon juice, do lemon juice, lemon juice and ginger and honey. Do
Mhm.
that. So it's kind of like a personal thing, like what are you drawn toward, what
Okay.
works for you, and then do that.
Okay, yeah, because I've tried all sorts of different combinations. I think lemon water and with cayenne pepper was one of them that I felt a tremendous boost from. I mean, I think cayenne pepper
Oh,
is like the wonder spice.
yeah.
There. That spice is what I think when I
Hmm.
finally fired my doctor years ago, I was taking cayenne pepper to address the blood pressure, my and yeah, it just dropped like a rock after taking cayenne pepper for a while. Um,
Nice.
okay. Wow, such great advice. And I know I've got you over time, and I'm just so many
That's
questions.
okay. I don't care.
Okay, so other questions. So we've talked about probiotics and minerals and clays. Um, I'm wondering, I've got this question here, and it's a touchy subject.
Oh, good.
You mentioned the whole thing about, the poor girl who was suffering from the ravages of a modern vegan or vegetarian diet. It's funny because while my daughter didn't have problems, she was, young person, got onto that trend, didn't she went vegetarian, tried vegan, that was too hard for her, went back to vegetarian, and then but and I and this is after she left for college, and then one day I was just like in her house, and like I'm like looking at the crap she eats, and I'm like, I can't believe, she'd quote, go to the health food store, go back to the frozen section and get vegan orange chicken and vegan, they're vegetarian. And I'm like, I was just looking at her like, why are you eating this garbage? It's quote health food, but it's health food, health garbage food. It's just junk. It's junk food for health. People who think they're healthy. And so finally, I just said, I just lectured her. I'm like, don't eat this garbage. It's all soy and processed, and yeah, just because the health food store sells it doesn't mean it's healthy. And what's amazing is, like, about a year ago, she finally came to me and said, Dad, I'm going to go back to eating meat. I just don't feel well, and then she's back on just regular eating meat. We just went and got a half a cow off, beef on the hoof together, stuffed our freezers, and yeah, she's doing great. She's mentioned that her cognitive, she's sharper and has more energy. But like, what's your take on this whole thing about this fake ideology that being uh I guess it's vegetarian, vegan versus carnivore, that's one thing, but then the fake ideology of buying all that crap at the health food store and thinking you're eating healthy. Let's start with that one.
Yeah.
What do you
So
what's your take on that?
great question. So you're absolutely correct. I mean, the fake food, it's highly processed and, has many, many chemicals and things that you don't want to be putting in your body. And what I see, and I'm almost at the point where I almost have to tell people, if you're not willing to change your diet, then don't come and see me. Vegans and vegetarians, I find, are very unhealthy. Um, in general, it kind of depends on how long they've been doing it. Um, and I agree that, having meat uh, definitely adds to the health. I've seen, the vegetarians that I see are generally highly inflamed and cognitively are having trouble. They just have a lot of trouble. And so I will try to steer them onto, more meats, to do something, more of a standard. I'm a Weston Price type person. And I actually have a client who's going full carnivore. So I'm looking at keto and carnivore right now. So if the bottom line for them is I make them take liver pills. If that's all that they can do, then that will actually bump their health up. But without meat, it's just very, very hard to be truly healthy because the protein, you need the protein, the amino acids in it, and I find that people who don't eat meat are really moody. Their moods really go up and down, and they get very anxious because your body doesn't have enough protein to make the neurotransmitters. And so, and the whole other side of the oxalate side of that, which is plants are poison and they're trying to kill you. Every single plant, every single fruit has a defense system to keep you from eating it. That defense system are things like oxalates. It's not phthalates. What's that? Phytic acid and salicylates. They chelate minerals out of your body. They keep you from absorbing your nutrients because that's their job. So I'm now to the point where I'm saying eat less vegetables, eat less fruit, eat less grains, eat more meat, eat more fat, eat more dairy if you can, and moderate what water you're drinking.
No, that makes,
Does that answer your question? Because I kind
yeah.
of got
Yeah,
off.
yeah, it does, because it's kind of like that whole thing about people think that, oh, if I bought it from the health food store, it's good. Like, like one day she was eating cereal, and I'm like, don't eat that garbage. She goes, well, I got it from Whole Foods, and I'm like, just because you bought it from Whole Foods does not make
I
it healthy. Like Whole Foods is probably one of the worst grocery. I mean, it's like, oh, are you kidding me? Or if you
Yeah,
go into Whole Foods and you go to their deli section, you look at the crap that they're selling, and it's like that, but yeah, anyway, that's just my thing about this fake I'm living healthy thing, when you're just stuffing yourself with soy and processed
and
foods,
processed
not
foods. It's
healthy
all
food.
processed,
And then, of course,
right?
to your point, the eating all this plant-based stuff. But that here the argument, right? The vegetarians and vegans have about protein, like, because you look at these giant herbivores that are vegetarians, and they're just obviously massive, animals and strong and all that. So what's your comment on that rebuttal, in terms of like, well, have you ever seen a rhinoceros? They're vegetarians, they're
What do
plant-based, they got plenty of protein.
are you
um
talking about
yeah,
herbivore
yeah, like
animals?
basically eating meat versus plants as a source of protein. Is it a different type of protein? Like what, or is the animal's physiology different? So
Oh,
that, because humans living off of plants is not the same thing as a rhinoceros living off of plants, right? In terms of
correct.
physiology.
Cows have 7 stomachs.
Yeah, yeah.
That's their physiology is designed to turn that herb, that grass, that plant into nutrients for you. Oh, look, it's magic. Then you eat the meat and then you get the nutrients pre-digested for you. Because if you, so the thing with eating, all the plants, especially raw stuff, it takes you a long time to digest that. And you have to eat massive amounts of food to get the amount of nutrients that you can get in a tiny little steak. So, really, if you are really technical about it, you should be eating like 27 pounds of broccoli a day, and uh, 10 heads of celery and 10 pounds of carrots to get the same amount of nutrients that you get in animal protein. And
Oh,
plus,
yeah.
we are designed to eat that. Our teeth, the digestive enzymes that we have, our whole GI system. We only have one stomach. At that, we're designed to process that food. So,
That's a really good way of looking at it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, because I've had like a recent run-in with a vegan, and they brought up the whole rhinoceros thing. Then they brought up, we argued about teeth, and then we argued about the digestive tract. When you look at like a canine's direct digestive tract versus a human's, and a human's is so much longer, given the size of our body,
mm,
thus forth, we're not carnivores, because but it's not about the digestive tract, it's about the stomachs, right? And the physiology itself, the way the body metabolizes, right? Is
yeah.
that how you would?
I mean, cats are obligate carnivores. I don't think they've got 7 stomachs.
Yeah, I mean,
But you know what? They don't have the brains that we have either. You know, we're
yeah.
pretty
Oh, good point.
complicated
Yeah.
and higher, and when you look at civilization, how it moved along, having cooked meat, although I would argue maybe cooked meat isn't even as good as raw, but, really moved it forward. So I think it really does provide a lot of nutrition in a compact um, amount that you can't get with vegetables and grains and fruit. And I know that's for the absolute opposite of what they're saying now.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think the idea behind the oxalates and all that, I think I think, there's this huge push right now for people doing keto and carnivore, kind of like the old
Mhm.
Atkins day. And I mean, when Atkins was popular, I did the Atkins diet, and it made me feel so much better. And that's actually when I gave up using oils for cooking, and I just use lard and butter now. Uh,
Mm.
and so, so I did want to kind of ask you about that too as well. But just to wrap up the vegetarian talk, though, I think what would be your recommendation if someone was adamantly, I need to be a vegetarian for whatever philosophical reasons? I mean, what would you tell them? Hey, then what would you have to supplement? Because I was making sure my daughter, when she was vegetarian, was at least taking B12, and I think I was giving her, I think, creatine or something else. I forgot at the time, but I was getting her supplements, saying, look, whatever the research showed, here, at least take these supplements if you're going to just eat nothing but processed plant foods. Because here, she was a vegetarian who hated eating salads. So she would never eat a salad. So she would just eat all this processed. We'd go out to dinner and she'd get a cheese pizza, and I'm like, oh man, or actually
Yeah.
no, not well, yeah, she would get a veg. She had the vegan pizza with the. I think the worst product on the planet Earth is vegan cheese. You ever tried vegan cheese?
Oh my God, no, because I
That is
hate
the
it.
most hideous.
It is. It's
It's
awful.
Oh my God, don't. It's like you want to torture someone, give them vegan cheese. But anyway, it's okay. So let's talk about oils. And I
Okay, wait. To answer your
yeah,
question,
oh yeah, yeah.
liver pills.
Liver pills. Okay.
Liver pills have everything in it for you. That's hands down the bottom thing that I would say you have to do this.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so oils.
you just look up something called liver pills?
Oh yeah, liver beef.
It's just a liver pill. Okay, so a
Just
supplement
liver.
called liver. It's a liver. So you're eating
Yep.
liver.
It's desiccated liver in a pill.
Oh, but you're never going to get a vegan to take a liver pill,
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely. Mine do.
How would you get a vegan to take something that came from an animal?
You know,
That's their whole thing. And that's why I was like, okay, that's why I was like, she wouldn't take anything at that point in her life. And so I would just
then
give
you
her
kind of have to
B12.
throw up your hands and just say, no.
You're not gonna feel well until you change your diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But that's a good point though. So if you have your family members gone Whole Foods nut job, this is how you can help them. Okay, so let's talk about oils. There's this huge deal in the health community right now, trying to warn everybody about seed oils, right? I hope everyone's listening to that. So what are your top three go-tos for what you cook with and what you eat? Are you a
Oh,
coconut oil person or olive oil?
mm, nope. My go-to is duck fat, and
Duck?
then it would be tallow or lard, then butter. I do like coconut oil,
Mhm.
but it always burns for me. So I use that for some things. I use some olive oil as long as it's really, really high quality.
Yeah.
But basically, any animal, any tallow, any lard, all of that stuff, as long as it's clean and doesn't have, the processed BHT, BHA in it. But hands down, duck fat is my favorite. But
Duck
I
fat.
use,
Hmm.
you know what? I use my own bacon grease. I'll save it from the bacon. I'll use that. If I have roasted a chicken, I'll save, and it's pure, I'll save that fat and use it. So, yep, any animal oil.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's kind of what, yeah, that's what we do now is it's all butter or tallow. Because when we go and buy beef on the hoof, we usually get like the 5 or 10 pound
Oh,
bag, of the just the
nice,
fat, and then we just render it down to tallow. Uh,
nice.
yeah, and then replace that with lard if we run out. But yeah, absolutely. That's definitely the way to stay healthy. Okay, so this has been fascinating. I think I'm going to break this up into one and two part. I think part two will be on supplementation, just so people can kind of narrow in on the subject. Because boy, doesn't that subject comes up so much about what supplements to take. Okay, so last question then for you is what's your recommendation for um, my daughter who is in grad school and is in probably the most stressed out environment she's ever been in, studying to be a doctor, as you probably can relate to that. And so, like, I know, and this is my thing, right? Your kids, you know how the kids are, right? They never listen to you.
Mhm.
So, like, right before she started all this, I'm like, hey, I made sure she had her supplements, right? I'm still the dad, and she wasn't taking them. And sure enough, I warned her about you've got all these different people flying in from all different places on the planet. They're all bringing in all of their illnesses that you have no immunity for. You're in these tight spaces and labs and lectures and with all these people that are from everywhere, right? Because there's all these people. It's an international program. And I said, what are you doing to avoid getting sick? Are you taking your supplements? Are you? And so sure enough, right? She's literally a month and a half into the program, sick as a dog, caught something from somebody. So like I'm trying to figure out like what kind of a regime can I put her on to help her, help her keep her immune system high while she's in this. Because we were just talking last night at dinner, and she's like, yeah, 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 the whole yeah, yeah, Dad, I know. And I'm like, what are you taking? Are you taking? And oh, I ran out of that one. I just said, are you taking your D3K2? No, I'm not taking it. I'm like, why are you not taking your D? Because she's not getting enough sunlight, right? Because she's literally studying and
Mhm.
in class and in labs and in clubs or whatever, 14, 16 hours a day. Um, so I like, what do you recommend for someone like that? 'Cause she just got sick last week. I had her do the Beck protocol for 3 days, kicked her, it nailed her fever, and now she's got this lingering thing. And so, what would you do for someone in a high stress environment where they don't get any sunlight? Is there some kind of magic multivitamin that I can just say, hey, just take this one thing and but what would you think of
So,
to help out
yeah,
someone like that?
so I'll tell you a couple things. Um, my go-to is a really simple, kind of pretty inexpensive supplement that I use for everything. It's called Wellness Formula by Source Naturals. It's got everything in it, and it will kick anything's butt. Um, at the beginning of when you start feeling bad, you just start taking it every 3 or 4 hours. And, it's how I got out of my kidney stuff. And there are, like, there's another one called Bio Vegetarian by Priority One, which is really, really good. They're just combos of a bunch of different herbs and some of the basic vitamins. So that's one thing, that I would keep on hand. The other thing that I do a lot is drink colloidal silver water. That's an easy way to get things in your system
Hmm.
that will kill pretty much anything. And if all she does is drink water and put, a cup of colloidal silver in her jug for the day, that would be amazing.
Okay. Yeah, because I've been making mason jar after mason jar of colloidal silver for her.
Yeah, that's
But yeah,
awesome.
I'll definitely look at this wellness formula and just try to get
The
her to just take
Yeah,
that, add your colloidal silver to your water. The only thing she's doing right is she's getting decent sleep. But
yeah.
other than that, she's been sick for 2 weeks, and I'm mad at her
So,
because
but the other thing that I would say, having looked back on my medical school years, I wish I had known at the beginning that I would have done the whole thing, is I would have taken adrenal glandular,
okay,
because the first thing that goes is your adrenals. And if you can support those, then everything else will kind of sort itself. But, the constant stress, that's what shoots, your adrenals in the foot, so to speak. And the glandular stuff, that's the other thing that I really use a lot with
okay,
people.
yeah, you mentioned
That's,
that in the group once. Oh, okay,
yeah, hands down, that's probably one of the best things. I'm taking a brain glandular right now that I really like. I've used all whole body glandulars. I was on adrenal glandulars for months. I use thyroid glandulars. They really, really support the body. Um, no side effects, of course. It's a real basic foundational support. It's not like using supplements. It's like you're supporting the organ itself. So I think they're really amazing.
so the glandular, is that a product line, or is it just you go and research something just called phrase and adrenal glandular?
So it is quite a big thing right now. There's lots of companies that will produce glandulars, like Biotics is one that I use. Ancestral Supplements has some really good ones. Um, Heart and Soil, I think. So, there's just various ones. Um, you just want to make sure that they're pure. I like the ones, anything from New Zealand is awesome.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah,
No,
does
that's
that help?
yeah, thank you so much. I just kind of want to put something together for her and just kind of help her out. I
Yeah.
mean, because
Yeah.
she's my kid, can you try to imagine I bought her all this stuff she doesn't use.
Uh-huh.
It
Yeah.
has
No,
her
I
own
get it.
red light. I mean, she's got one of those expensive big door sized red lights. And I'm like, are you using your light? I mean, and she knows the thing that irritates me though is she knows everything. She knows it all. I've taught it to her. And then, but she
Yeah.
just gets busy. And it's
Yeah.
frustrating, right? It is so frustrating because
Yeah.
like to me, this moment in her life, these next 4 years are going to define her future. And it's like, hey, you got to be beyond the top of your game. You got to take care of yourself. Kind of like that whole airline speech, right? You got to put the oxygen mask on yourself
Yourself
before you
first.
do you got to take care
Right.
of yourself because you cannot reach your dreams if you don't save yourself first. But and then of course, she's trying her best. I'm proud of her,
Yeah.
but
Aw, that's
so hey,
awesome.
you said something, and I got another follow-up question. So I'm sorry about I know this is
That's
really taking a long time, but
no, it's
okay,
okay.
kidney stones. You're saying that you mentioned something was really good for kidney stones. I guess it was the wellness formula, right? Was that what you
Yeah.
meant?
So kidney stones, first of all, I would look at oxalates in the diet because almost always oxalates will form into any kind of stone because they basically form shards and um, grains in your body and gum everything up. So that's
Okay.
the first thing I would look at. The second thing, yep, I've used the wellness formula along with the kidney drainage formulas. And
Okay.
I've given drainage formulas, specific for kidneys and well, you can drain the gut, you can drain anything, but also for blood vessels.
Hmm.
And I've had people think that prevented people from having kidney stones and that it lowered their blood pressure.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the tip. Yeah,
So
for me, it's like I hit that wonderful age that for you young people who haven't reached that yet, but you get into your 50s, and boy, it's so much fun. And so I've had kidney stones 3 times now. So, but I
uh,
haven't had one for years because I went and started taking Chanca
yep,
and I took the hydroxycitrate for a while, but I continue to take Chanca twice a day, bone breaker, right, herb.
yep,
And
yep.
then I actually took, I don't know if you ever tried this, and we haven't talked about peptides yet, but I took the Pilax peptide for a year for kidney support, along with hydroxycitrate and Chanca, and that kind of stopped. I mean, I was on this pattern where I'd go 1 year left, the year later right side, the year later left
Mm,
side. I was, it's kind of going back and forth, and so then I started doing this regimen I just described, and then I haven't had one since, but I had one recently, like with a few months ago, but I passed it real within a day, and I'm kind of wondering, like, okay, so I don't know why it's coming back. My diet's not the same anymore, but I did drop off, and I only take Chanca. And I was thinking maybe it's because I only take Chanca and not the other two things. But I was looking into this. This is my question. What do you think of castor oil packs
oh,
to dissolve the kidney stone, or to put it? Because I actually tried doing that. It was a real big mess because it's really hard to put the pack on your own back, when you're single. But but I finally figured out how to do it, mechanically, how to get this thing on my back. But what do you think of that? I mean, because I haven't found any research on that, but it kind of seems intuitively, based on all the research on castor oil, that a pack might work for that. I mean, what's your thoughts?
yes,
Oh,
absolutely. You
good.
have hit on one of my other favorite therapies. I always prescribe castor oil packs because they are freaking amazing. And I haven't had anyone dissolve a kidney stone, but I had a young woman come in. She was in real good health. really, really good health. But she had lowered kidney function and she was just freaking out about it. So the only thing she did was castor oil packs. She did them daily for weeks and she improved her kidney function like double and
Wow.
triple. And that was the only thing she did. No supplements, no herbs, nothing.
Wow.
So I
Okay,
know it
so
works.
what's the timing? Because what I was doing was what I was reading. I got a heating pad, castor oil pack with a heating pad, 20 minutes each kidney. Is that kind of, or is it
Yeah,
too short? What do you
no,
recommend?
I would do number one, you don't actually need a heating pad. You can if you
Oh,
want to,
okay.
because if
I
you
was just
cover it with
following.
plastic, yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's the standard. If you cover it with plastic and a towel, your own body heat will warm it up.
Okay. All
And
right.
that's actually, some people actually say it's better to have pressure and to actually like use an ace bandage to pressure it, to hold it tight against your body. And that actually works better. So you might try that. But what I would do is I would do it longer, like maybe 40 to 45 minutes, and either alternate kidneys or just do both kidneys at the same time.
Okay. 45 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for the free
Yeah,
consult.
no, that's okay. I'll send you a bill.
Yeah, no problem. Just send me a bill. I'd be more than
And
happy to pay for this. This has been so helpful.
awesome.
Yeah, that was
Use
what I
the
was
best,
thinking.
sorry, use the best castor oil you can find if no solvents and organic if you can.
Right, right. I went and got it. Or I always go for the organic, non-GMO
Okay.
everything. It's like my
Okay.
rubber stamp for if it touches me, it's non-GMO. Or
Awesome. Good.
okay, so I will
Perfect.
definitely give that a try because I'm just trying to experiment. I'm tinkering constantly. There's not a day goes by that I'm not tinkering with something, and trying to figure out another avenue towards health and healing. But yeah, so thank you so much for this time, and it's just been
Yeah.
a great chat. I hope you've learned stuff from it. For those of you that are listening to this, and
Yeah.
now I definitely want to cover this. Now, your website's called Thrive Naturally Wellness.
Mm-hmm.
The link will be in the description below. And of course, there's this whole come work with me, give me a call, make an appointment. So if you wanted to actually reach out to Nadine, this is where you would go. Is there anything you wanted to kind of point out? I mean, are like how booked and advanced are you? Or I'm hoping that there'll be people out there that are going to want to reach out and just kind of help themselves because
Yeah.
that's what this is all about is, be your own
Aw.
healer. And then people like Dr. Johnson here is just an amazing. I think I would look at you as more like a guide, like a spiritual guide on that journey, right? That's how
Aw.
I look at it. It's a
Aw.
journey to health and healing, and you've got these incredible guides that will
Yeah.
help you along your journey because ultimately you're the only one responsible for your health.
Right. I
Yeah,
absolutely agree. And
yeah. Because
so go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, I mean, like even in the allopathic world, right? The biggest problem with allopaths, other than their mindset, is that the studies that I've read, literally, I think it's more than half. It's a really high number of
Mhm.
patients don't even follow those directions.
Mhm.
Like they'll never finish the full regimen of their antibiotics. They just don't follow the directions, and that's why they never. That's part of the reason they never get better. They just don't take responsibility.
Yep. That's really true. Really
So
true.
any party, and so if people want to, I guess I sorry interrupted you. What's your schedule like? And if people want to reach out, is this the best way to reach you is to
Yeah.
call?
Actually, yeah. Actually, the best way is probably to either text me or email me. Um,
Okay,
and the email's on there. I
it's on the
am,
bottom down here.
yep.
Okay, so just set up so they just go to the bottom of the page, set up an
Actually,
initial consult email, right?
yeah, actually, there's Nadine at thrivenaturallywellness.com as an email,
Okay,
or you can just, the best email is thrivenaturallywellness at gmail.com.
Thrive
So
True.
yeah,
Okay,
that's the easiest way. I'm busy, but probably like maybe 4 weeks out right now. So yeah, and I'm still getting everything in line for all the telehealth stuff, but I'm more than happy to help people. I
okay.
love it.
No, that's fantastic. So it's Thrive Naturally Wellness.
at
at gmail.com. So it's the
gmail.com.
same name as Thrive at Naturally Wellness at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Or come to the website. I'll put all that in the video
Yeah.
description below
Oh,
for those of
thank
you
you
guys that
so
want to reach out
much.
to Nadine. And thank you again. This has been so fascinating, and it's it's really rare I get a chance to kind of just like talk to someone like-minded because as you might have noticed, I've been into this stuff for so long, and it's great to kind of just bounce my idea off somebody who gets it better than me, and has and a lot more knowledge about it. Because unlike yourself, which is an accredited licensed professional, I only went to University of YouTube. So
But
I'm a graduate of YouTube University, which may
no,
or
but
may not make it stand up to
the
you.
actually, Kay, you are awesome because lay people who have done deep dives as you have and have the time to experiment and do things actually are full of lots of knowledge. And it's just because I've gone to, a medical school, I'm full of medical knowledge. But it's that specialized stuff that you've gone down the rabbit hole, which informs, all of us. So you have just as much value, as I do, and we all do. So I really appreciate you, and I thank you for this opportunity.
Oh,
So it's been
awesome.
great.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I'm right now I'm doing I really enjoy the whole biohacking because to me there's health and healing, right? Which is all the stuff you and I have just chatted about, but then there's this whole biohacking space, and I really love to play in both spaces. So I'm into the
Oh,
whole like, red light therapy and
yeah.
UV lamps and gases. I'm really into the whole gases thing, hydrogen, Brown's gas. I'm doing a video right
Oh,
now on ozone and just all there's so many other ways to approach all of this, but it really kind of, to me, the whole biohacking thing is kind of like a lot of fun. You can like, what can I actually do to improve
I know,
performance? But
right?
you have to start off with that foundation though of health. You got to be able to heal yourself, and then once you can get that organized, then start biohacking for even better performance,
Right.
and so forth. So
Tweaking.
yeah, tweaking your brain is another whole
Right.
thing to talk about. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'll just let you go. Thank you so much
Okay.
for
Thank
your
you.
time. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Can you just stay on for a second? So I'm going to go ahead and
Yes.
do the stop share thing. Okay, there we go. Oh, hey, thanks a lot. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. No, no, you're welcome and thank you.
I appreciate this. So, hey, took up an hour and a half of your time on a Friday. It's 5 o'clock. Time for it's Pauhana in Hawaii. Is That's what it's called. So we just finished work, and everyone goes out and has a cold one.
Nice. Good
All right,
idea.
all right. Thanks, Nadine. You take
Okay.
care.
You too.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Aloha. And thank you very much for joining us. This wraps up the part 2 of my interview with Dr. Nadene Johnson. It's just a fascinating discussion, and I just want to say a huge mahalo to Dr. Johnson for spending so much time with me and sharing just such great wisdom in terms of just what it takes to really optimize your health and wellness. And so, thank you so much, Dr. Johnson, and thank you for watching part 2 of this video or this video interview. Really appreciate your time. Now, if you wanted to reach out to me, you can just go type in tinkers.academy in your URL window, and it just pops you right over to my blog where I have a lot of this content there. If you like this type of content, I really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe to the channel where I'm producing this type of information and just anything I can do to help educate and share what, just the overall idea of health and wellness. And so that's how you reach me. Now, again, as I covered in the video, if you wanted to reach Dr. Johnson, you can go to her website. It's thrivenaturallywellness.com. Again, I'll have links to her website. Her email address is all going to be in the video description below. And she is such a warm and loving human being whose career lifetime objective, goal is to help other people with their health and wellness. So if you really want to reach out to her, don't hesitate. You can go ahead and go to her website. You can and contact her via email and whatever. And just don't hesitate. She's just this great human being and more than happy to talk with anyone about their health. And so that's how you get a hold of either one of us. And again, thank you so much for watching the video. Greatly appreciate your time. And just wanted to say, hey, be well. Aloha. Have a great day.